Haaland is well on his way to smashing every single footballing record you could imagine in the Premier League. But what if he was playing on the other side of the city?
Haaland, you came to the wrong side of Manchester.
No, they love me here.
Yeah, United.
Well, whilst giving a talk this week, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, former Manchester United icon and manager, said that he actually gave United the chance to sign Erling when he was still playing in Norway, age 17, for just £4 million. United turned down the opportunity, and since then, Erling has gone on to become one of the most prolific strikers in world football. But just imagine Erling played for Manchester United.
I don't promote the violence, but many people need like some good slap right now in this club.
By the way, as I'm sure you can maybe tell, the acoustics might be different. I've moved flat at the moment, but it's temporary. So that's why there's cardboard boxes around. So just if the setup's not looking the same, I wouldn't have this, honestly, United fans, yeah. Erling Haaland could have been yours when he was just 17 for £4 million. That is nothing to a team like United, even, what, 6 years ago? That's it. Go get the Norwich scarves. Obviously, since this offer that Ole gave to United, Erling has gone on to score wild amounts of goals in Norway. They even sent scouts to go and watch him for Molde in that famous game where he scored like 4 goals in 20 minutes, age like 17. Since then, he's gone on to play for Red Bull Salzburg, then signed for Borussia Dortmund, and now has, just gone clear at Man City. Poor Ole, man. Imagine him watching the script, realising how good Erling was going to be now, and the fact that United didn't sign him. Imagine they said no to signing Erling for £4 million and then signed Odion Ighalo. These lot chose jollof rice over actual goal scoring.
In that position, I just have to smash.
It raises a good question, actually, though, to be fair, even just talking about Ighalo. Obviously, United's squad right now is got some great players in, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford's in crazy form defensively, you got Varane, you got Casemiro, you got Lisandro. But 2018 United was a very different beast. Who was even managing then? That would have been like end of Jose Mourinho era, right? Either way, Erling Haaland's not getting delivery from Bruno Fernandes back then. Balls are getting swung in by Antonio Valencia and Andreas Pereira. That's not delivery. That's Hermes, man.
Manchester United. And who's your favourite player? None of them. They're all rubbish.
How many other teams in the Premier League would you have rather signed for, Erling? Imagine Eric Bailly trying to stop this Norwegian robot in training rondos. It's impossible, man. Like, even just looking back, there was some okay players at United. They obviously finished second as well during the Jose Mourinho era in the league. It might have even changed him as a man, to be honest with you. I mean, how many loan spells would he have ended up on? I can't lie, United managed to ruin so many players during that era. I can guarantee you Erling would be on loan at Sunderland right now. Him and Amad Diallo would be vibing in the Championship together. He would have gone on an entire tour of the second division. I know he would have been on loan at Blackburn Rovers at some point, but at least his performances down there would have been pretty solid.
What a night they've had in Plymouth. And then Stoke. Brilliant. And up to Middlesbrough, all the places that we need to win.
And look, listen, if he's getting first team football, just know that Paul Pogba is transforming that man after a couple of nights out together.
Come better than better. I smoke weed with Stormin and shop. Enough gotta call my forward.
I don't know exactly how close United were to making the decision to bring him in, but some very reputable Norwegian journalists were saying they watched him play a game against I think a team called Sandefjord or something in the Norwegian top flight, and also, as I said, that big game where he really put himself in the shop window and burst onto the scene, Micah Richards style.
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
For those that don't know, by the way, I don't know if I've given context yet, but that game that I talk about, people first understood and knew who Erling Haaland was. I've made a full video on Erling Haaland's rise to prominence and rise to being one of the best strikers in the world before. You can check that out down in the description. But basically, as a 17-year-old, he burst into the Molde starting 11, was scoring relatively frequently at this point, but then against league leaders, Brann, he managed to score 4 goals in 20 minutes. A 14-minute hat-trick, I think it was. Now, don't get it twisted, the Norwegian league is not exactly the best in the world, but Roma got beaten beaten by a Norwegian team 6-1 last season or the season before. They've got some good players in Norway. It's not an elite league, but if you're scoring 4 goals in 20 minutes, age 17, against the league leaders, then you're probably going to become a pretty good footballer. So the fact that United sent scouts to specifically that game, I would forgive them if they'd watched different games where he'd just come on as a sub. Even back then, you know, again, these journalists sort of were watching him and saying his build is crazy. This kid must have been 6'1", aged 11, because even then he was still bullying defenders just like he does now, and he was still doing GCSEs. It's crazy though. Imagine how different his career could have been if he'd ended up going to United. Like even now, imagine he was still there, for God's sake. The scoreline between him and Harry Maguire in training would be disgraceful. Aaron Wan-Bissaka trying to slap crosses into the box to put onto his head would be actual comedy. There is no way Erling Haaland and Antony have anything in common. Not whatsoever. Would he have even survived the Ralph Rangnick era? Because I know a lot of United players definitely wanted out during that time. And with the way Erling is in interviews, you just know he would have been honest about the managerial situation.
The worst manager in the history of the Premier League.
You know what as well, like retrospectively, again, it's so easy to say they should have gone from here. But just like United have been needing a proper number 9, a proper actual striker for so long. They keep going out and buying elderly strikers for one season. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, for example, Edinson Cavani.
I felt betrayed.
They've just been constantly flicking between strikers and trying to make something work. They could have just molded a kid when he was 17. Erling Haaland with Heelys on is more effective than Anthony Martial in this day and age. The thing is though, would Erling's dad have even allowed this to happen? After the beef with him and Roy Keane, I think it's doubtful. Imagine him and Roy Keane clocking each other at the United reunion barbecue after this signing. And realistically, would it have even worked for Erling Haaland? Would we have got the same Norwegian beast of a man if he'd have ended up going to United that early on in his career? I mean, for one thing, I know he would have walked into the changing rooms, seen Axel Tuanzebe and Matteo Darmian and known it wasn't for him. Judging from what Ronaldo said about the facilities, I know they've probably got better facilities in Norway right now. And also, I just think his general trajectory so far has been perfect for his type of career. Like Red Bull Salzburg, sign young players, develop them, send them on. All he had to do was go and score goals in the Austrian league, which is probably only a little bit better than the Norwegian one. Borussia Dortmund, again, very good at nurturing and increasing the ability of young talent, plus a lot of Champions League experience for Salzburg as well. And then he's gone Man City now, whilst he's actually at the height of his abilities. I genuinely don't think you get the same Erling Haaland if he just goes to Manchester United. United didn't really have a vision during that 5-year period where they were under sort of Moyes into Van Gaal, then into Mourinho. There wasn't a clear identity about what United were, the players they were signing, and especially the strikers they were signing as well. I talked about Romelu Lukaku. I've never seen a man less graceful than when he was playing for United. And I've seen him play for Chelsea as well. The ironic thing is, on the face of it, it would have helped a lot. They've needed a striker for the longest amount of time. In my eyes, they still kind of need one, like an out-and-out one. And Erling would have been there for 6 years already, scoring a bucket load of goals. But again, in terms of Erling's development and in terms of United as a whole, definitely not a match made in heaven, even at that time. And to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie, Erling's not even dodged a bullet here. He's dodged a laser-guided rocket launcher. What do you make of it, guys? Let me know down in the comments section below. Would Erling Haaland have still been the same player if he'd gone to United all those years ago? And where would Man U be by now if they'd brought in a young 17-year-old Erling Haaland before anyone else got the chance? If you enjoyed this video though, feel free to slap a like on it, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel and enjoy this sort of content. I did, as I mentioned, make a much more in-depth video on Erling Haaland's career, which you can also check out down in the description. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.